164. Good morning and welcome to Worldwide Wisdom. We're learning today about how we can not only neutralize our anxieties, but actually to leverage them to scale 10x, far greater heights than we ever dreamed possible. This is a counterintuitive and revolutionary concept taught by the Alter Rebbe in our Discourse, Mayim, Rabim, which is about the waters of Noach. It's based on the paradox of how the waters of the great flood could be called the waters of Noach. Noach means tranquility. How could it be called the destruction of tranquility, the flood of tranquility, the deluge of serenity? Is that not a paradox? Explains the Alter Rebbe that in fact, the flood was divinely designed in order to raise Noach's boat, to lift him up higher. In order to lift him up higher. And in fact, it's not only a story of ancient history, it's a story of the current reality that we too are given a flood by God Almighty. Every single person has a flood of anxieties. You know, it's an interesting term in English. You know, you can be overwhelmed, you can be underwhelmed, but I don't think you could be whelmed. Is it possible to just be whelmed? How you doing? I'm just whelmed.
Today I feel
I don't think there's such a thing. I mean, what is this? It's like a bias against chaos. It's a chaos bias, right? There's always a problem, right? But we don't even have a word for stability, for normalcy, right? I'm just whelmed. No such thing. So, okay, guys, we have the wrong pages. Got it. Fine. There's nothing to do about it. So back to the whelmed. There is no such thing as a person that's whelmed according to what we're learning in this discourse.
it's a transitive verb.
Whatever that means. Transitive verb. Okay, fine.
There is a word
It's to whelm something.
Oh, there is actually a word whelmed?
There is a- yes, there is a
Oh,
word.
there is a word whelmed. Nice. Yes, you can be whelmed. I thought I made up a word. But it's uncommon. You know why it's uncommon according to AI? Because the word whelm is archaic and literally means to be engulfed, submerged, or overcome. While overwhelmed and underwhelmed are commonly used, whelmed is the original term.
So you're over submerged?
Yeah, like what does that even mean?
Redundant.
Oh, so that means the standard is to just be regular submerged, which means I got my head above water. That's whelmed. My head is above. I'm in water. I'm treading water, but my head's above the water. Overwhelmed means I'm drowning. Underwhelmed means I'm whatever. But interesting. Now, isn't that interesting that the word is like dropped out of use because nobody was whelmed? They didn't have to use the word, right?
Underwhelming.
It was underwhelming, right? Anyways, so now we're learning how do you reach, now that we understand this, now that we know, we don't understand, we know that the purpose of the chaotic anxieties of our lives are by divine design in order to somehow lift us up, in order to raise us up. As King Solomon says in Song of Songs, he says, not only will the tumultuous waters of our lives not extinguish the love, they will actually fan the flames of the love in order to make us even more passionate in our relationship with God. How, pray tell, is it possible for us to experience spiritual upliftment and elevation as a result of our financial anxieties? The answer, says the Alter Rebbe in our Discourse, is through meditation. Because when we meditate upon our problems, what we do is that we actually leverage the problem to turn it into a springboard, much like a physical springboard. Now, I'm not the kind of person that would ever use a springboard because I see no purpose in climbing 30, 40 feet above a swimming pool only in order to descend to the bottom. But there are crazy people amongst us who enjoy this kind of behavior, and not me. And what they do is that they actually jump downwards in order to be propelled upwards. That's what it is. It's a springboard. You jump down.
Of course you have to jump up.
Okay, fine. But the act of the jumping is that you go down, you descend in order to subsequently ascend. And that's what this is. You're engaging in the anxieties of this world so that by the meditating over these anxieties, this is a meditation that you would never have done if you were not struggling. When you meditate over your struggle, what happens is that you're going to emerge like the springboard, uplifted because of the descent. It's going to infuse you with added vitality, added passion, empowerment because of the descent. And this is an idea that we're going to develop. But right now we're still stuck on the meditation concept because we don't actually know how to do it yet. We as a generation of distraction, we are the generation upon which billions of dollars are spent at every single moment in order to capture the most prized possession of all.
Time.
And that is your attention. It's your attention. It's not even your time. They want you to click on the video. They want you to. They follow your eyeballs already now. You know, they're looking where you're looking, right? Couldn't believe it. I got a video showed up on my feed yesterday. Something to do with the conversation that you and I were having yesterday. And I'm like, oh. No, hang on. No, I know what it was.
He found it.
Oh my God, you found the break. Where was it? My wife.
It was in his pocket.
Yeah.
Where was it? You found it outside?
It was in his pocket.
My wife is going to be elated. My wife barely slept last night. Dan, I'm going to take a picture of this with the, with not the culprit. I'm saying, what's the opposite of culprit? No, what's the word? With the savior.
Out of his pocket.
My wife.
It
It was in the parking lot.
It was in the parking lot? Dan, it was in the parking lot?
Yeah.
You just did a mitzvah. Big mitzvah. Where in the parking lot? I'm curious to know.
Just in the middle of the road.
In his pocket.
Right here in the front or the side?
In front of his house.
Or in front of the show?
Yeah.
She's going to be elated. My wife is so upset about this. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dan. And you walked in. Let me tell you, you made the Rebbe very happy. I did already, yeah. Amazing. Anyway, sorry, folks, for the brief. That was a mitzvah, man. Let me tell you. You know what's funny? I'm reading a book. One of our members wrote a book about me. I can't believe it. One of our members is an author. His name is Bruce Bronstein. He comes here every Shabbos. He's an author. He wrote a book called The Ark. Theark. Okay? The Ark. Now, The Ark, it's a book about basically the Mossad trying to get the Ark out of the Vatican, you know, whatever.
It's a fiction piece.
Obviously, yeah. But what thing is, it's themed on a rabbi.
Yeah.
Which rabbi? This rabbi. And he constantly brings up themes that I talk about in my sermons. I had lunch with him yesterday, and I gave him some commentary. I was telling him, everything seems good, but one thing over there, you missed the point on one of the sermons. You know, we were talking about it. It was fun. So anyways, why am I telling you this? Because, so I finished the book last night. And it was kind of cool, you know, reading a book that has something to do with me, you know what I mean? It was interesting, you know? But the rabbi dies in the book. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I said to him yesterday, Bruce, what are you doing, man? This is not cool.
I can't read the book. You killed the
I was not happy about this. Anyway, so why am I telling this? Because last night I was doing something on YouTube, and suddenly I get a feed in my YouTube. I'm reading the book, okay? I get a feed in my YouTube about a secret tunnel that goes from the Vatican to I don't know where. I can't pronounce the St. Paul Peter's Basilica, whatever that is. And there's a tunnel where the popes would escape from. You would escape from the Vatican if they needed to, and it's built in 1227, and the Pope used it in 1553. And by the way, in the book, this is how they got the ark. They went in through the tunnel. There was a secret Pope tunnel. I'm like, how in heaven's name did YouTube know that I'm reading a book? You know, when I go to sleep at night, I read the book. My phone is far away. I mean, it's a few feet away, but how did they know this? I wasn't even. In fact, you know what? During lunch, I had lunch with them yesterday, and I had my phone with me, and I was talking about the Vatican tunnels.
It's always listening.
Unbelievable. Now, I was interested. I was like, hey, I just read about this. This is crazy.
You know what? Your car is listening to you. Your phone is listening to you.
This is crazy. But you know, by the way,
But your students are not listening.
you know, by the way, Israel,
My house doesn't.
you know, Israel just banned all IDF commanders from having Chinese-built cars. There's a lot of Chinese cars in Israel, the cherries, or what are they called, cherry, and they banned them from. I think you know. You remind me of the story, Toby, of this guy is speeding down the highway. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Cop pulls him over, and he says, "Where are you going at this hour?" So the guy says, "I'm going to a lecture." A lecture? Who's going to give you a lecture 1 o'clock in the morning? My wife. So anyways, yeah. So here's it goes on. I got to try that one day. So back to the story here. We're living in the age of distraction, and for us to meditate is a big deal. It's a big achievement. We've learned already the first 2 of the 5 steps of meditation. Today we're going to go into level 3. The first 2 we said are, just to review, the first one is mental replay. Mental replay, guys. You got to take a concept, a chapter of Tanya, a Mayim, a discourse, a sikha, something, an idea, a construct, and just push replay. Remember we did in the olden days? We did a rewind, stop, and play. Just do that. Run it through your brain a couple times, right? That's level 1 meditation. Have you ever tried that? It's very refreshing. Number two is replay in your own words. That's number 2, right? So now you're starting to use metaphors, analogies. This is what I do in a lot of my sermons. I'll take a teaching from the Rebbe, and what I'll do is I'll meditate on it, meditate until I own it. And then I'll put it through my own experience. I'll put it through current affairs, through politics, through science, through biology, through chemistry, through something which I feel makes it much more personal, much more meaningful to me. So I'll do a lot of that. Level 3. Welcome from New Holland, Pennsylvania, and DeRidder, Louisiana. Nice. And New Mexico. Fantastic, everybody. Good morning. Welcome. Now, level 3 is a different focus on the meditation. For level 3, what you're doing is, this is where the magic lies, where you allow yourself to become a lightning rod to anything that you can recall from this idea. In other words, you become an empty vessel. You open your mind and you see what wells up when you focus on this topic.
From your own past, first thing happens. Yeah.
For your own?
From your own past, first.
Your own past, things you've learned, things you've heard. The brain is an amazing organ that recalls things that might have been repressed or suppressed. But you know what a vacuum is? A syringe. How does a syringe draw the blood? Because it's empty. It evacuates. It's a vacuum. So when you pull into an empty space, it cannot remain empty. So you empty your mind. It's going to fill with something. But if you focus on this direction, you say, okay, today we're going to focus on God's control. Today we're going to focus on God's supervision. Let's say we're going to talk about God's supervision. Or we're going to talk today about doctrine of perpetual creation, my favorite topic, right? Or we're going to talk about, let's think of something very specific. I had a fight with my spouse, okay? And I want to reflect on the unity of our souls. Right? Very specific. It's like a specific topic. So now, instead of getting stuck in the he said, she said, could have, should have, would have, you're reflecting, you're going backwards, you're going up to the helicopter, 30,000 feet maybe, going up, and you've seen the origin of souls, and you're remembering now what a soul is. Oh, soul. Soul's cut in two. You remember the Talmud? The Talmud says, you heard once that the Talmud says that 40 days before birth, 40 days before conception, a heavenly voice calls out and says, the daughter of so-and-so will marry the son of so-and-so. And now you're like, whoa. This person that I just had an argument with is actually my soulmate. Whoa. And now you're allowing yourself to become a collector of all that you know about the topic. You're just tying it together in your own mind. You're becoming an embroiderer. In level 3, you're becoming an embroiderer. It's a very interesting experience when you focus, contemplate on one thing, and it becomes a quiet, a robust, powerful experience. The brain has a way of integrating the different angles of the concept into a delicious cholent that ties it all together beautifully. Let's give an example. The name of God. Yud K, Vav K. The Yud and the Hey and then the Vav and another Hey at the end, right? So this is the name of God. Now, when you look at the name of God, it doesn't mean anything. Boy, oh boy, I had yesterday a conversation with someone. Heaven help me. I was talking to like the cleaning lady or the domestic maintenance assistant. PC. Domestic maintenance assistant of a relative of one of our members. Right? She's very sick and she refuses to seek medical help. Refuses fundamentally because she's very Christian, but then she became a store. I thought a Christian scientist, but she's not. She became like a scholar of Torah. She started learning Torah. But now she learns Torah like a Christian, which means she learns Torah like just the verse, no depth, nothing. Like no depth. So I bring her a verse and I say the Talmud explains the verse. Doesn't care about the Talmud. She just says, this is what it says in the verse. You got to believe in God. And that's it. right? So when you read just the plain, simple verse, I'm telling you, I was exhausted talking to her because this person,
It's Sadducees. It sounds like the Sadducees.
yeah, very, very literal interpretation.
Literally.
But I can understand, it's like a Christian interpretation of the Bible. Like they read the Bible, face value, God is angry. What is that, a wrong? Should I take that back?
No.
Not? Don't criticize. Okay, fine. All right, folks, I do not want to overgeneralize. I do apologize if I misspoke. What I meant was, it was a certain style of understanding. Okay, that's what it was. I definitely do not want to classify people into groups. It's not my style, not my interest, not my purpose. It was a style of thinking that I found very superficial for this particular person. And I couldn't engage. I could not engage because anything which I said conflicted with her predetermined decision on what the conclusion was. She decided that doctors are evil, medicine is there to kill you, and only God heals and causes disease, and that's the bottom line. That's it. So I was like, okay, what do you want me to do? And she would bring me a verse out of somewhere that says that some random verse that says that God is angry or God is happy, and that's it. Okay. So when you look at the name of God, it doesn't mean anything on a very superficial level, the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey. But let's think about it. Let's do a quick meditation together. Let's do level 3 meditation. What comes to mind when you think of the name of God, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey? Give me some ideas. Throw it out.
Almighty.
It's not Almighty. Why do you know? Hang on. I'm sorry. I should not say that. I take that. I'm in a mood today. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. I'm on the rampage.
You were killed in the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna get over the book. Yeah.
Wait.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna focus on what you just said because that was entirely inappropriate, and I take it back. So what did you say?
Almighty.
Almighty. Why does it mean God is Almighty?
He's infinite. And everything.
Okay, so why is he infinite? Because let me just unpack what you're saying. Why is he infinite? Because the Yod and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey is past tense, present tense, and future tense. Haya, hoveh, yihiyeh, which means he's above time. And since he's timeless, it means he's not limited to the laws of nature, and therefore he's almighty. So you kind of skip like 7 steps because you're very familiar, but I needed to break it down, right? So very good. That's the first thing that comes to mind in our level 3 meditation. Anything else? You said something?
Space. I said the same thing he said.
No, you just said space.
That's the second thing.
He didn't say space. He said time.
I know. I just.
So he said timeless. Now you're applying a different idea, which is nice. I mean, it's along the same lines, it's the same word, but God is above space. Now, above space is a totally unique and interesting feeling that comes up because the minute you say God is above space, you're like, 1 second. So he's in North Korea, and he's in Gaza, and he's in Tel Aviv, and he's in New York City, and he's in Palm Beach. God is like, okay, what's it?
Omnipresent.
It's like omnipresent. Okay, that's like an interesting idea because the minute you say that, and I want to tell you why I think that is, because it's coming to me right now. The name Yud Kei Vav Kei also means, in addition to past, present, and future, it also means maker of everything. Like Hoveh means being or brings things into being, right? So when you say that, that's maybe a different thought entirely, because when you say that, what you're saying is that God is the creator of everything, and they can start thinking about the doctrine of constant and perpetual creation. So he's not just omnipresent, but he's also like he's essential. The key word is essential, right? That's Yud Kei Vav Kei. Did you say something else?
Well, I would say he transcends all, beyond all categorization, beyond all understanding.
What was the first word? He what?
Transcends.
All. Oh, transcends. Transcendent. Now,
all.
Why transcendent? Let's think about that a minute, because there's so much to break up here. You just said a lot in one sentence. But transcendent is because the word Elohim, the name Elohim, is nature, the way God hides himself. Havaya is the way that God is above nature. By the way, this woman I was talking to yesterday refused to accept the fact that God wants to remain anonymous.
Okay.
She wanted a verse that says this. And I'm like, it doesn't say it in the verse. There's hidden Torah, there's oral Torah, there's secret Torah. She wasn't into this stuff, right? It's very interesting. But when you say, so Elohim is the other name of God, which means the way God hides himself in the laws of nature. Havaya is the way God reveals himself. The way he's above the laws of nature, which kind of ties into what Mordechai said, right? So you're introducing an element of transcendence, which is broad.
It's
Well, it sounds like it goes beyond.
I would say he transcends transcendence. I mean, he's
yeah,
beyond
that's true.
comprehension.
That's true. But I want to just say it like this. Sorry, Steve. I just want to. There's so much to process in there because I'm trying to download what you're saying. And when you say transcendence, one of the things that comes to my mind in level 3, I'm doing a live meditation right now. One of the things that comes to me is like, 1 second. Is there anything more meaningful that I could possibly engage in than this? Is there any bigger idea in my life than the transcendence of God Almighty, of Havaya? Just think about that. My golf stroke improvement, making another dollar on a deal, making another relationship,
Current affairs.
having a child, yeah. I mean, think about it, starting a business. These are all big things, but is anything as big as?
No.
So that's an interesting concept that just came to my mind. Honestly, I didn't think about it for a while. Did somebody else say something about Havaya?
Omniscient.
Now, omniscient means that he knows everything. How do you know that? So you said omnipresent and you said omniscient. Now, omniscient, how does that connect to Havaya? Help me here. How does he know everything from Havaya?
Because there's
He
no
knows what's
time.
in your heart. He
There's
knows.
no time.
Oh, if there's no time, it means that for him, tomorrow is today.
Right. That's
Which
what
means he
I'm saying.
knows
He knows what's
Today, what you're going to do tomorrow.
He'll know tomorrow.
Right. So this is an extension of what Mordechai said. Very interesting. It's not drawn out of the Havaya directly, but rather out of what he said. So you see what's happening over here?
I talk about space. So there is no vacuum because Hashem fills everything. So there actually is no vacuum. The same nature abhors a vacuum because he's omnipresent, because he fills everything. There's no vacuum.
So you're saying now,
Perception.
you're saying that,
there's
now
no
you're
vacuum.
coming in from level 2 here, 1 second. You're
There's a
throwing in level 2.
perception of
You're like,
not-
let's say, Rabbi said vacuum. I'm a scientist and I know that there's no such thing as a vacuum. That's what you're
Well,
saying.
no, there is a vacuum. They say there's a vacuum.
There is a
Hashem-
vacuum?
Well, space is supposed to be a
Space
vacuum.
is supposed to be a vacuum. Hashem fills space. Therefore, there really is no vacuum. He fills everything. He is more than he is.
Okay.
only-
I would
only
need to
encompassing
better
only
understand what you're saying. I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying, but what you're saying is effectively is that there is no space that's void of him, because that becomes
Right,
such an
not void.
exciting concept when you realize that I'm never alone, and in the darkest, most loneliest moments of my life, there's no vacuum. Very, very, very interesting implications of what you're saying. Yes, Herman.
All right. There is a verse in Tehillim 27:1 that he mentioned the Hashem name 2 times in the first verse. And you mentioned that it will define what you were saying. It's the attribute of Hashem.
Okay. All right. We're not looking at that right now, but thanks for mentioning that. As you can throw it into your cholent, right? Into your level 3 cholent, right? You're throwing in whatever you know. That's not called a lightning rod, Steve, because the lightning rod attracts the ideas. And remember, what are ideas? Ideas are chachma, a lightning. Chachma in Tanya chapter 3, chachma, the first level, is called a lightning strike. That's an inspiration of an idea. You want to serve as a lightning strike to just attract all the ideas to attack you. And you just sit there. Yeah, that's an
What
interesting
do you say?
term, brainstorming. I never thought of that term, brainstorming. You're creating a storm in your brain, right? I like that. That's very nice. Where level 3 is just allowing yourself. Now, if you just sit there and you are subject to any conversation that's going on in the room, it's very difficult to focus. Before this class, I was trying to focus on an idea. I was meditating for a few seconds, and you kept on playing a video from wherever it was, New Jersey, right? And I have to tell you, this is not a criticism. It's not a criticism. But I have to tell you, for me, I found it very distracting. I was like, he's playing it again. He's playing it again. He's playing it again. And for me, I was trying to brainstorm. I was waiting for the ideas to attack me. And for me, I think in general, I'm a little more sensory to sound for some reason, I think. But I find it very difficult to meditate when there's stimuli around me, which is why I like to meditate at home. I like to meditate like in my car or something. But what I'll do, I'll come here and actually cover my ears before, because it's stimulating to me, because I'm conscious of what level 3 is. Level 3 is you have to allow yourself to be an open vessel, to be able to attract that brainstorm to hit you, right? When you do this, what?
The ultimate meditation is to be able to get into that place in your head where it doesn't matter. You can do it on a train. You could do it in a ballpark. You could do it anywhere. That's how focused you are.
Look, Rob, I think that's
It's
a good
easy to do it in
aspiration.
quiet
Rob,
room
I think that's an
towards that.
aspiration, but I want to respectfully disagree with you, because I think that part of the reason why people don't meditate is because they set the bar too high. I'm going to meditate. You know when I'm going to meditate? When I'm retired, and when I'm on an island in the South Pacific, and the weather's just right, and all the stars are aligned. That's when I'm going to meditate. Stop it already. Get over it, man. No, I don't want to accept what you just said respectfully, because you set that bar so high.
Yeah, but that's not what I said. You said you're taking the easy way out. You said I'm going to go at home in a room by myself.
Why is that the easy way
with
out?
everybody.
Try it. It's going to change your life.
No, that's much easier than to try.
I believe this is the voice of your evil inclination talking right now.
If you're gonna meditate,
Dude.
while they're-
I'm serious. I want to tell you, Rob, I want to respectfully tell you, I believe that this is the voice of the evil inclination, because what we're touching on right now is so transformational.
Yeah.
It is so transformational, this idea that your evil inclination, I mean, it's for Brayman, right? That your inclination is trying every which while, is that a term, W-I-L-E? Every which way to discount, to downplay the significance of what we're doing right now. Denigrate. What we're doing right now is life changing, because I want to tell you what's going to happen. When you do this, when you allow the different spokes of the wheel to formulate in your mind, 360 degrees in your mind, right? When it forms the circle around you, the brain storm, it creates a magnificent picture. It overtakes us, and we find ourselves inside of the concept, and it makes us excited. It results in a wow. This is the kind of meditation that you might not do before prayer. This is the kind of meditation, level 3, that you want to do after studying, right? And when you do it, when you do that, what happens is that you're allowing the concept to take control over you, to drive your train, to be subsumed, as Tanya chapter 5 tells us, is what happens when you study Torah on this level. And then you're actually able to experience what? Visual faith.
Visual.
Yeah, that's an interesting word, right?
Visual.
You're actually able to experience visual faith. I was, let me just try to put that into my own words. For most of us, faith is at best audio, something we hear about.
Well, it's audio, it's also emotion.
Okay, we're getting towards emotion, but this is good. But for most of us, that's something you hear about. That's something you receive. But when you're able to allow yourself to experience level 3 meditation, you begin to formulate a picture where you're actually able to see something, right? Try it. Let me know what happens. It's really beautiful. This is the core of Chassidic culture. Now, when you're able to do that to your problem, the fight you had with your spouse, the struggle with your child, with your business anxiety, right? A political concern, and you're able to do level 3 meditation, then God enters into the arena, which means no longer is CNN the decider of the fact. You heard BBC? You heard about this?
Yeah, we all know.
BBC.
Yeah.
I mean, newsflash, they've been modifying the news. Really? I would never have guessed that, right? I mean, talk about too little, too late, right? Bring back the lives of the people who were murdered because of the mobs that were incited by this violence. These guys need to be prosecuted. Forget about resigning. These guys need to be held and need to be sent into detention. They need to be paying for their crimes. They need to be held accountable for the destruction of life and the loss of property that happened as a result of global jihad that was incited by the BBC arm of Hamas. So don't allow the news to be dictated by such evil forces as the BBC and CNN and so other deciders of truth. No, allow Hashem to be part of the conversation. You do this, it's a game changer. It's magnificent. Level 4 that we're going to talk about next is introducing the emotional reaction, and that's where the Mayim continues. The Mayim continues with the level 4 meditation. We'll be talking about that when we do this next. Just interesting comments coming in here. I want to just comment quickly. Whoa. Epiphany is a lightning strike. Is that correct? Is that what the word epiphany means? So let there be light. Then there was light. There's no darkness, but God is that too. Interesting. Ponder about, apply the Meissner effect of physics. The Meissner effect is an acting approach developed by Stanford Meissner that encourages actors to focus on their scene partners and external stimuli. Interesting. So when they put themselves in that situation, they become the actor. They become the part. I think that's what's going on over there, which is fascinating. Rabbi, when there are a lot of people around me, with tons of sound. I am trying to meditate just like you told me with the Shema. I say it daily no matter where I am. That's interesting. Thank you. Okay, Andrew and Andy. Vacuum is a scientific concept related to Elohim, but the Havaya aspect allows God to override the scientific vacuum, so he can be even with the nothingness of the vacuum. Fantastic. God is with you. God is infinite everywhere you are. The rabbi didn't make a mistake about... Okay, this is more political. Okay, I'm going to go there. All right, fine. Thank you very much, everybody. Fantastic. Have a great day. Shalom, and thank you for joining me here.
You here tomorrow? Or you